Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we're going to be doing and reacting to one of the breakdowns of the brand new PlayStation 5 Pro. Now, as you guys may or may not know, because we've covered on the channel itself, there is a brand new PlayStation 5 Slim iteration, and as well a brand new PlayStation 5 Pro that just came out. And it actually is slightly better, and there's a lot of little small breakdowns that we've had a chance to see both from leaks, but as well now with hands-on experience. The PS5 Pro is in theory like slightly more efficient. It weighs a little bit less, and a few other cool impacts that are actually surprisingly better than we'd all expect, alongside with internal changes. As well, there's also a brand new DualSense controller, so we're going to talk about all this stuff too as well and showcase it as well. So make sure you guys are subscribed if you guys are not, and put on the notifications here. We also do have a brand new giveaway, although you guys can make fun of me. I think I forgot to update my random channel stuff. I should probably do that in this video. So I had the old one on there for way too long. We have a brand new one on both the comment section and top of the description. If you guys want to subscribe here with the notifications on, or swing by Twitter and get your bonus entries, feel free to. That is linked down below, or swing by honestly the Twitch or whatever it might be, and let's go and dive on into the video itself. So as I mentioned, there's been a lot of kind of bigger changes. They did rewire the internals. They changed things, they removed things, and although it's not the craziest biggest deal out there, I would say it's worth making a video on. So we have a video over here from Austin Evans, who had a chance to go and get this all fully broken down. Friend. I'm gonna let him do the unboxing really quick before we get into the big nitty gritty. And as you guys can probably go and see, it doesn't really look that much more different. There was a brand new PS5 Slim that came out not too long ago, and as well, the PS5 Pro, as I mentioned, is very similar. So there's just this next iteration. This is the 2.0 for the Slim and the Pro, and it's still gonna look very similar. As you guys can even see on the unboxing segment before getting the nitty gritty, it's very normal. You open the box, it's gonna look like the PS5 Pro with the same USB and same everything else, but the magic's in the internals. If you guys just got a PS5 Pro, don't feel bad. Now this one is better, and we're gonna get into why and react to why, but it's not like you should be sad. You got a first edition PS5 Pro. This is not groundbreaking. You're not going to be crying. You don't have to sell it. You don't have to drop an extra $300 to upgrade it or trade with someone else. But if you were on the fence, now is probably the best time to go get it, because we're getting these brand new iterations slowly. Maybe give it a few more weeks as the stock kind of, dissipates on out. Because I do believe they said they got this from Spain, and we saw it, we're all in Australia first, and then in Europe. We're not sure exactly what's going to be changing up here in America. So keep that in mind, or if you guys have been on the fence, like I said, maybe wait a little bit longer. And we're about to get into the actual proper reaction on this one. I do want to give a little shout out to the original content creator as well. I've seen him make a few kind of cool PlayStation takedowns, and we're gonna have a chance to see the internals of it and give you guys my thoughts on it all. So yeah, I guess without further ado, you guys can see PS5 Pro does look nice. And there was also big changes too, where they want to change the outside matte. Now, as you guys know, especially on the Slim, there was two separate colors, the matte finish and all this, and this is the very first major big change. So let me now actually into reaction mode over here as I did the intro, because they did also even change some of the layout on the Pro. Let's let it roll.
Slim actually is now matte, which I actually think looks better. Let's take a look on the bottom and see them, make sure the model numbers are in fact different. The original PS5 Pro is a 7019 model, or 7000 series.
So these are two differences.
This is a 7121. We're gonna do some power testing, we're gonna do weight, we're gonna do some gaming testing, make sure everything's fairly
there is a decent amount of changes.
Tear this guy apart and figure out what exactly is different on the inside.
Also, I love his shirt.
Or are these basically the same and Sony saved 3 pennies by removing a couple screws? Oh wait, ooh, I see something different. The fan grill looks like it's plastic on this one and it's metal on the old one.
So first and foremost, there is a lot of big things on the weight and changes. And that is something that's a little weird, because I'd almost prefer a metal. I feel like it seems more sturdy than plastic, although it's mostly plastic. But it does go and cut down on weight, and there is around a 100-pound difference between the two. So the PS5 Pro is somewhat decently, it weighs a lot less. It's not crazy, but it is there. It is noticeable. But you guys can kind of see that it seems like they were maybe cheaping out a few little things. I mean, I'd rather have metal than plastic in my hardware, but
Which is like the Slim.
So I'm gonna guess then that the new one is lighter and therefore cheaper to manufacture.
And ship as well.
All right, just so that I don't get confused, the PlayStation on my right is the new one and the one on my left is the old one. So let's start with the old one and see what it weighs. And we're getting a measurement of 3.
It's been around 100 or so, 90 or so
PS5
grams.
on the scale.
Give or take.
16. Damn it. every time.
So you guys can see it's around like a 90-gram difference for, I mean, that's not really that much at the end of the day, but all these little small compounding things do improve it slightly when it comes to efficiency, power efficiency, and even how the console performs. Like the performance is actually slightly better due to it just having a better heat flow, especially for longer gaming sessions.
There's 100 grams missing, and then I gotta go on the search for who stole my 100 grams. For the
That
sake of
copper's
completeness,
expensive,
we're
bro.
also going to check the DualSenses. So this is the original old DualSense, which weighs in at
We haven't seen any major
277,
differences on
and
the
new
DualSenses.
DualSense weighs in at 276. That's margin of error. I think that that's probably the same. So I have two things to find out. First one is hopefully the simple one. What is the difference with this new DualSense? Because it does have a new model number. The bigger question is, what happened to my 87 grams, Sony? There's only one way to find out, which is a lot of work.
I think, especially when you take it apart, they're probably going to remove a little bit of the copper wiring. There has been some murmurs of them replacing the internals, like just rearranging stuff and changing stuff. And we have seen some of the prior leaks where they did just completely, like they've almost kind of flip-flopped it to have slightly better airflow. And I'm a big fan of having slightly better consoles. If you can improve it over time for free, although they did downgrade it and like shrinkflation it, which I already complained about. I don't like that Sony's selling us, trying to save money on shipping and everything else on top of downgrading the consoles, as you guys know, with the terabyte downgrade to 825 megabytes. It's not cool, but bear in mind, it is what it is.
Tear this thing completely down until I find my grams.
Sounds like you're looking for your grandma.
Grams!
My grams is probably in my PS5 somewhere. Just
Bro, I don't care what this guy has to say. All I have to say is he looks cozy. Dude, I wish I had a comfy couch like this. He looks like he's about to nap. Like, I feel like if he closes his eyes for 2 seconds, bro, that guy is gonzo. He is sleeping. I literally would be asleep on that couch. I need to buy a comfy couch so I can just take naps on. I have been doing so much, especially my second account. I cannot wait, bro. The second I'm done with this video and I upload this and I know it's like not messed up, bro, I'm taking a fat nap, bro. I'm rolling it.
just over time.
Oh, God. So now that we've got our PS5 Pros up and running, there's a couple of initial thoughts. So the rumor going into this is that the 2025 model would be about 2 to 3% more efficient, and that's about what we're seeing.
So that's kind of what we're seeing when it comes to energy efficiency, but also performance. From everything I've had a chance to research, the console does actually run better. Like, it is a better console overall, which is surprising. It's marginal, but it is more efficient.
Idle numbers are actually very similar between 2024 and 2025.
Very close.
However, if you jump into Astro's Playroom, the game we've tested every single PS5 with ever, we are actually seeing a 3 to 4% improvement on the 2025 PS5.
So once again, this is not a big deal. Like a 6 wattage difference, this is like pennies, maybe a few dollars if you're an absolute addict gaming like 10 hours a day. And usually wattage difference isn't the biggest deal. But it does add up, and it is nice, especially if it's like the same model differences. It shows that they did actually change something and something did actually get improved on.
Pro. Now that is not massively substantial, but it is a slight improvement. Now that to me makes me think that there's probably no difference with any of the main components like the actual chip itself. We'll find out when we dive in, but 3 to 4% improvement is what we're seeing at first. Next, let's jump into our thermal testing. So starting with the 2024 model of the
I need to
PS5
buy one of
Pro,
these.
It's a little bit warmer.
You know how cool it would be to I'd be thermal testing everything, bro. I'm going up to my girl or something, thermal testing her mm-ms, you know what I mean? Just I'd be curious as all hell. This is cool.
This side, I'll actually say it's warmer on the bottom. Yeah, we'll call that about 63 degrees Celsius. Next, let's try the
Around 63.4 is the number I saw in the 2024 Pro.
2025 model. Very close. It's 61, 62 degrees.
So like maybe like 1 or 2 degrees slightly lower, which is still nice. It is still an improvement, but at the same time, is it really groundbreaking? Not so much. I would be actually very curious to see the same test after like a 6-hour or so gaming session, because if it's slightly efficient, you would assume over time it would be a little bit better versus like first 1 hour of playing or so.
Not a substantial difference, but it does
I do
kind of
agree.
make sense. If this one's taking slightly less power, it's ever so slightly cooler. So no big surprises here. It seems like the new
marginal.
PS5 Pro is a little bit more efficient, maybe just a touch cooler. But one thing I noticed immediately when we set them both up side by side is that the new PS5 Pro is noticeably quieter. Now that wasn't exactly a huge...
This is probably the biggest thing. And if you guys have had a PS4, you know how many people I've had on my Twitch stream and everything, like I even on YouTube comments, complaining about their PS4 once it starts going... like after like 20 minutes, or anyone who is still on the PS4. By the way, join the giveaway down below. I mentioned we have that giveaway. It's a brand new one. Like, literally go check it out. It's on the description or whatever. If you want a PS5 Pro, $500 or a Switch 2, go and join that. But like, Jesus.
Problem with the original PS5 Pro, but
It was
when you
loud.
put these two side by side, not only is the new PS5 quieter, but also to me, it has a nicer tone. Take a listen.
Okay, it sounds like someone's doing construction outside. That is a little nicer.
So it's about a 2 decibel difference, which is in the neighborhood of about 20%.
Honestly, like, I'm not the biggest, I could deal with it, whatever. If I have headphones on, I'm listening to music, talking with my friends in a party chat, it's not the biggest deal. But when it comes to this and my PC, I can say a slightly like more efficient console is nice, just for your life. I don't know, bro. I'd wrap this nice. This is the most random one.
Quieter, which is substantial, but it's not just the volume, it's actually the tone. So the original PS5 Pro,
Yeah, that doesn't sound
to me, has
nice.
a little bit more
Sounds
of a higher
harsh.
pitched noise. For the new PS5 Pro, it's a little bit of a low.
It's almost lower and more compressed, which is not the biggest change up in the world, but it is something to know.
Or sort of like hum. And just to confirm things, we are also now running Gran Turismo 7, a game which has been optimized for the PS5 Pro, and we're seeing very similar results. The 2025 model is consistently a few percent lower when it comes to the wattage. Now, I do
So it's just using slightly less energy and probably running slightly less heat. These are just nice for knowledge. Like, if you were on the tailwind, like I said, this is probably a good time to
want to try one more thing, since this is obviously
Soon.
not that demanding. Ken, we need to set up replay mode.
So I have saved a replay that I've done on both machines. They're not going to be 100% the same.
Sure, but again, this should be probably the most demanding thing we can throw at it, because this is going to be running with full ray tracing. We're seeing 220 range, but consistently the 2024 model is a little bit higher. Seems pretty clear to me.
You can see the numbers. They are very consistently slightly better on the new 2025. Nothing crazy, nothing groundbreaking, but all this stuff does add up.
The 2024 model is a little bit higher. Seems pretty clear to me that the new PS5 Pro runs with a little bit less power, it's a little bit cooler, and it's actually quieter. But before we
That's
tear
a
it
win.
fully apart, I actually want to take a closer look at the DualSense controllers, because even though they look incredibly similar on the outside,
They did
this
also
is a new
update this
model
as well.
number. So taking a closer look at the DualSense controllers, there are some differences here, but I'm not entirely convinced that they're important differences, if I'm honest with you. So the most obvious visual change once you take off the back shell is that the 2025 model has added this little bit of support that the 2024 model didn't have. The most obvious thing, though, is it looks like they've removed one of the microphones. So the DualSense,
Not the microphones on my DualSense, where I'm playing Call of Duty and I have some random man who's never played his PlayStation yet, just having him and his wife having a conversation in the background the entire time. Oh no, why not the one extra microphone?
understanding is it has 2 microphones, one on the front, one on the back. Well, you can see the rear microphone on the 2024 is very front and center, but on 2025, there's nothing there.
It also kind of seems a little bit more like hidden as well in this brand new controller, like slightly more compact versus the original.
I don't think there's probably gonna be a huge difference because there's still the main microphone on the front. Something to point out. The battery is also different. So even though it's the same size, it's a different part number. The new 2025 model has a different connector compared to the 2024. There's some other smaller things we noticed. So some of the things, for example, the motors and the handles, they're different parts from different companies. Now, I couldn't tell a difference when I was playing these back to back. So it could just be a thing where Sony just sourced for multiple companies the same general part. But not a big difference if I'm honest with you. But it is a new DualSense. So let's see what's
Yeah, nothing really big major, just a reworking, rewiring. It's still the same weight and has probably the same, like, you know, adaptive feedback, whatever. That's okay.
working inside the PS5. The first step to any good disassembly is the most difficult part of tearing apart a PS5, taking off the side panels. I can't do it.
Even when I had to just like do my SSD, I was afraid. I had a sponsor one time to do like just to put in the SSD. Dude, even I was afraid for that, man. And I've like built PCs. I don't know why. I'm always afraid of touching my technology.
Like the 7th time we've taken apart
I
a
know,
PS5.
and I scratched it
and
half
you
the
still
times.
can't.
Like, it just feels unnatural. Like, I would never want to do this.
At first glance, everything seems to be pretty much the same between these units. We
Yeah,
still
well,
have
same
easy
layout.
access to the CR2032 battery for your CMOS. You also have easy access to add an SSD. Now, if we flip these guys over,
I still think the PlayStation 5 having that hidden SSD thing that they added like 6 months later was the coolest thing ever. Props to them still.
the thing I saw from the outside is that they have changed the actual fan shrouds. It doesn't look all that different. This one is much
A
like
slightly better fan too as well, which is also helping with the heat dissipation and everything else. Interesting.
the PS5 Slim. It's a plastic shroud as opposed to metal, and it has the little Easter egg. So presumably this is a little bit cheaper. Oh, I think the heatsink is different. I can see it's got that same different colored copper from the PS5 Slim. So I guess there's only one thing for it. Time to tear down. This video is sponsored by the LTT screwdriver. Get yours today at ilovelinus.com. So we have fan number 1, which is the original fan.
Yeah.
Look, I finally got a fan.
It reminds me of like my high school biology teacher. Not a bad thing.
We have the fan in the 2025 model, which is different.
So different fans, different internals.
They're both 19 blade fans. They're from different companies, but they look like they're basically the same. I'll weigh them really quick, but I don't think the fan is where our extra weight is coming from.
Probably not.
What?
I think probably just getting rid of some of the copper is my guess.
What?
Is it 87 grams worth of
No,
difference?
it's not far off. Wait, hold on a second. I was like, the fan from the 2024 PS5 Pro comes in at 274 grams.
That's kind of heavier
The
than I
new
thought.
model, 237.
That's like 40.
It must be like the internal bearings of the fan or something. That is so strange.
I mean, it's actually a bigger
That's
difference than I
about half
thought.
of our weight difference right there. All right, well, there's nothing else for it. Time to fully disassemble our PS5 Pro. As you can probably deduce from the large pile of PS5 Pros strewn all over my table, we now have more answers than questions for the first time. We've pretty much accounted for all of the weight loss. So the first and most obvious is the difference in the weight of the fan.
That's
Which
surprising to
makes a
me.
lot of sense because not only is this fan lighter, but of course, as we saw in the actual audio testing, it just sounds a lot better. Outside
So that
of
is at least a big update. Like I do agree the sound was way nicer and like it's a lower heat overall. This like it's not like a crazy change up, but it is there, noticeable.
that, interestingly, there's actually a big difference in the power supplies. So even though they look almost exactly the same, the new power supply is a fair bit lighter, which kind of makes sense because it either is a little bit more efficient or maybe they trimmed the design down. On top of that, the rear heatsink.
As they have a chance to make millions of these over time, and they're always like they have like a team that's trying to make these efficient as possible every time. So it's something to note that they will get better, and they have gotten better, which you can see. There's been like 5 different PlayStation iterations for the first core one. So this is almost like PlayStation 7.0 if you think about it.
So if you look at a PS5 Pro, the main heatsink is pretty much the exact same between the two models.
It does look extremely different, but it's always curious how the colors are. Like it's like a brighter orangey hue. Intriguing to say the least.
I will note it's a slightly different shade of copper. The real difference is actually in the rear heat sinks. Even though they look pretty much exactly the same, the one on the 2025 model is also a bit lighter. Beyond that, there's a couple of
So once again, they're just trying to like trim what they can. If it's working good enough, and it seems like it was better, so I guess nothing that bad or that change up. They're just trying to like fine tune up the console a bit more.
very minor differences between the shells. So the plastic shell is a little bit lighter than the one with the metal fan grill, but probably the most interesting thing we see here is some differences to the motherboard. They basically just trimmed a lot of little pieces. So there's a lot of little VRMs that are missing over on this side.
Makes sense. So they basically just got rid of like all the little filler that they probably don't necessarily need and fine tune the console more.
There's some missing on the backside. All of that pretty much tallies with the fact that this is a slightly more efficient unit. It's a little bit cheaper for Sony to manufacture. Of course it is, but it is not some revolutionary change. I would pretty much say, even though this is all interesting at a theoretical level, this is not a big deal.
I would agree. On his high level, to kind of wind this on down, yeah, it's nice to have a slightly more efficient, cooler console, but it's very small, like a 2% or so. Is it like worth running to the store this second to go get one or trade in your old PS5 Pro? No, but I do like that they are constantly trying to improve their console, taking it apart, rearranging it, and kind of fine-tuning it. Now, there are a few things I wish wouldn't have been changed, but at the same time, a slightly like less loud, more energy efficient, and just slightly cooler console, I think is a win at the end of the day. So give me your thoughts and comments on everything down below. And as well, thank you so much, Austin Evans, for letting me react to this in the first place, and all of you guys for watching. Like join the giveaway if you guys want to down below, and of course, leave a like, your thoughts, and I appreciate y'all so much for watching.